Welcome back, everyone, to a brand new box office video here on Mac Talks Movies. My name is Mac Dinnerbrigan. Usually, every single Tuesday, I break down the box office from the previous weekend, break down it from domestic from this past weekend, and break down the overall numbers so far, domestic and worldwide. Then I talk about the overall movies that are coming out that upcoming weekend. That's my show. I'll be back to doing that next Tuesday, but I didn't do it last week, and I had a lot of thoughts about doing a video about what my thoughts are right now on this very depressing summer box office to start the summer. The first month, historically awful, one of the worst summer box office months ever. And a lot of movies were supposed to, kickstart the summer movie season, and none really have hit that mark. No movies come close to opening to $100 million. Only 4 or 5 movies this year in general have even made 100 million here domestically. And a lot of people have been making videos talking about what is wrong with movie theaters. And I took a week. I said, I'm not going to do a box office breakdown this past week. I still want to think about my thoughts on doing a video like this. I saw some of my fellow, creators out there making videos. And I obviously a lot of them very organized. I'm just going to come here and tell you my thoughts on the whole situation because obviously if you've been following the channel, thank you for everyone for getting me over 200 subscribers. I really appreciate that. Let's get to 300 as quickly as possible by hitting that subscribe button. If you're new to the channel, I do movie reviews, TV show reviews. This show, which is usually a box office breakdown every Tuesday. I also do movie rankings, and over the last 6 months, I've been doing out of theater reactions. So please subscribe. We're doing a lot of fun things. We're gaining a lot of traction, which is really great. But I am someone who really, since I can remember, have loved going to the movie theater. It's one of my, outside of going to a sporting event, it's my favorite thing to do. And I'm going to before I get into my thoughts on the situation, I think it's fair to give you my backstory because I think a lot of people have been missing the boat that everyone's just kind of tell, the usual things, what's wrong with movie theaters, and I'll get into that based off my personal experiences. But just want to talk about my love of theaters because I think this needs to be addressed because really post-COVID, post 2021, the movie theaters business, going to a movie theater has kind of either been laughed at, or I've run into so many people who say I don't do that anymore. I only go for the big movies, maybe once or twice, 3 times a year. And that's sad because when I was in the thick of things, let's just say going to the movie theater all the time, everyone was kind of going to the movie theater a lot. And it used to be a big thing for my friend group. I live originally from Philadelphia, moved to Los Angeles in 2013. And I liked movies. I was definitely very passionate about movies, but not like I was before I moved to Los Angeles, obviously, which really helps. Going to a lot of nice theaters, being around a lot of actors all the time. My high school was around the corner from where they do all the premieres. Yeah, it definitely elevated my thing. And then to get into like my passion, obviously, like I started watching the Oscars, which really got me like hooked into awards movies because I was a big sports fan, and the award shows felt like to me closest movies can get to a sport, a competition. So early, like when I moved there when I was like 11, 12, I saw some really serious movies when I was 10, 11, 12 years old in the movie theater. I remember I saw a double feature with my mom seeing The Theory of Everything and Still Alice. And I was like 12 years old. So that's how you know how serious I was taking it. And then what changed for me with movie theaters was MoviePass, which is now getting a documentary on HBO, which I'm going to watch. But I got MoviePass around 2017 when it started, when it was $9.99 a month to see a movie every day. And back in 2017, which is crazy to say this now, 7 years ago, the getting your ticket in advance wasn't as big of a deal. I went to the movie theater all the time, and everyone would tell me, you're going to be one of the reasons why MoviePass goes under. And of course, MoviePass went under a year later. But MoviePass got me in such a rhythm where I did not want to leave the movie theater. I had such great experiences. It made me realize this is where movies should be seen. Yes, I rewatch movies all the time, shows and movies on the small screen. Of course, you have to. You can't just live in the movie theater, but I really enjoyed both the IMAX experience. It felt like an experience. If it was IMAX, if it was a regular screen, and I had so many fun, different experiences with particular genres. Like I love really horror and comedy movies, especially in a movie theater. And sadly, we don't really get that many comedy movies anymore. If they are, they're on streaming. You just never go to a theater with a comedy movie. It's one of my favorite experiences, getting around people to laugh. I remember I snuck into a theater with my brother when I was like 13 to see, or 12 to see Spy, with Rose Byrne and Melissa McCarthy and Jason Statham. And I remember crying, laughing. Everyone else was in that theater. Those little experiences in horror movies, seeing if people get scared or we get scared at the same moments. And then obviously, for example, my favorite still to this day is No Way Home back in 2021, sold out theater. It felt like the Super Bowl of superhero movies, and I was grew up with a lot of those characters. Obviously, born in '02, so that movie definitely meant a lot, and being in the theater for that movie meant a lot. The Movie Pass happened. I would go all the time to the movie theater, but again, it didn't let you go see Dolby or IMAX movie theaters. And then when Movie Pass wrapped things up for the moment in around like mid 2018, late 2018, that's when AMC A-List happened. And I am still an AMC A-List Stubs member since 2018, like November, December of 2018. So now it's going to be 6 years. In about 5.5 years, I've been an AMC A-List, which is, you pay the $20+ a month for 3 movies a week and in any of the formats. And I've been addicted really to the movie theater ever since, especially when in LA, I used to go to that Universal Cinema City Walk, which has one of the best, if not the best, IMAX in the country. And I would see if a movie was playing in IMAX, I was seeing it. If there was a movie coming out, my goal is to see it every week. I had friends in later in my high school life where we would every Friday, we would take a 10-minute Uber to this theater and see a movie every single Friday, no matter if it was going to be one of the worst movies of the year or one of our most anticipated movies of the year. Then COVID happened, and that was a weird experience because I was not in a movie theater for over a year. And for someone who goes to the theater minimum once a week, maximum 2 or 3 times a week, that was a big change. COVID really affected everyone. And obviously, a lot of people suffered a lot more than I did for not getting a chance to go to the movie theater. But I'm just saying, personally, that was really tough because I was 10 minutes away from the movie theater. And living in Los Angeles at the time, we were one of the first places to really shut everything down. And LA, California took COVID the most, I'm not going to say serious, but took the most, limitations of what you can do to be very safe. Took it very safely. Sorry, I'll just say that. They're trying to be the most safe, I guess, out of most of the states. And it was very early in March. I saw Onward in theaters that Friday with a couple of friends, and then I think the Monday after, our school was on Zoom. And what I knew I saw Onward, and then the next movie I would see in the movie theater is Godzilla versus Kong, and I would see a lot of movies in the summer wearing masks. It was very weird, very odd, but I was happy to be back in the theater. But the movie theater experience has just been bad, really, since post-COVID. And I've had a lot of thoughts on this because I love the movie theater. No matter how bad these experiences are, I'm going to talk about some of my experiences. And I want you guys to share your movie theater experiences down below. And what do you think movie theaters should fix moving forward to get more people back in the theater? Again, when you have something like AMC A-List, you sometimes forget what a ticket costs, what the snacks cost, because like I'm AMC Rewards, I pay a certain amount of money a month now, like $20+ a month, and I go all the time. So most of the movies are really free for me because I have the A-List. But for most people, they don't even know that these theaters have subscription services. And especially in LA, like a regular movie ticket is like $17, $18, $20+ if you want to see in a premium format. And that's just for one person without concessions, because popcorns are now like $10, sodas are like $8, for example. And if you're bringing a family, when you're an A-List subscriber like me, you just don't, at times, I haven't thought about it in a long time, that people just don't have the money anymore to go to the theater. And I think there's two main problems, as I'm going to try to tie into the problems now. I think there's multiple problems, but for me, from the experience perspective, what I hear from other people, I think the biggest problem that I've been seeing with movie theaters is that it is a very expensive experience that's not treated as luxurious as what you're paying for. If you're going with a family of 4 to see Inside Out 2, next Friday, That's close to, if it's like 17 dollars each, let's just say 16, $17 each for a ticket. Um, that's, $68 just for your ticket plus concessions. You're racking up like $100, maybe like 90 to $100 just to go to see a movie in theaters for 2 hours. And honestly, I grew up doing that, so I love doing it, but people don't have the money anymore as well. And that's too expensive. And that's why people aren't going to the theater every week. They're picking and choosing 1 to 2 movies that they know have to be seen in a movie theater, like Dune Part 2, right? For example, this year has been by far the most successful film because that movie feels like the best way and your main way to see the movie is in the movie theater. It didn't feel like a movie that you could wait to watch at home for the first time experience. It felt like you had to be in the movie theater to see that. And we don't really have a lot of movies like that anymore because back in, especially 2019, so many billion-dollar movies, if you just had a really good IP or good word of mouth, that would be good enough for you to do well at the box office, especially the superhero fatigue and the franchises. They used to just make a new movie and people would go see it because of the IP, and that's a money-making thing for the studio. We are so far past that. And we've seen so many studios struggle since the pandemic because they used to just make a new movie, and because their name is on it, like Marvel Studios or Pixar or DC, for example, or even Harry Potter, those franchises were not doing well. Especially Marvel was not doing well. Like I mentioned, Pixar has plummeted, sending their movies to straight to streaming services. And some of these articles about what their plan is mind-boggling. It's one of the juggernaut movie studios, and they're in just the worst space in their existence. And it's all because usually Pixar would make a new movie and millions upon hundreds of millions of dollars would be made off that movie. And that's not the case anymore. Lightyear lost them $100 million plus. Elemental, sure, it did well late, but that was one of the worst performing opening weekends for a Pixar movie. And it's mind blowing, and it's sad because I love the movie theater. And I think what's also bad is the actual experience. I go to an AMC near me, don't want to say where I am, what the theater is, because I still go to that theater every single week. I'm going there Thursday night and Monday to see a movie. But my experience could be different from other people's. I lived in LA. Those experiences were fantastic. I never had major problems really in an LA theater. Post-COVID, I did actually. My brother and I saw like a couple movies in IMAX that summer, and like 2 or 3 times. This is supposed to be one of the best IMAXs in the country. The movie would just stop, or it was just off. Like the Minions Rise of Gru. I remember that was a really bad experience. We would cut in and out, and then they told us we had like a free coupon after. Post-COVID, there were issues, but the experience was never like people yelling too much. That was never a problem for me. I guess I'm very privileged that I was living in LA for over 10 years and never had that problem. But back now where I live here in Philadelphia, those problems have really persisted where people I think post-COVID, even when I was in LA, here in Denver, when I was this past summer or last year, people just treat the movie theater like it's their couch. Like they're the only person there. They're lounging around. They're making noise. They're flashing the lights high in the air. They're on their phones. And it's just become very disruptive and distracting. I want to be maybe a critic, and I would love this enough support from you guys to get me to a point where I can go to critic screenings, and studios and movies are inviting me to go to screening where I could really take it super professionally, meaning I can be in a theater where I'm not expecting distractions to happen. Because now every time I go to a movie theater, my expectation is something's going to happen. Either someone's going to be loud, someone's going to be flashing their light, someone's going to be on their phone. Like I just expect it now. I expect people who show up an hour and a half into a 2-hour movie and just try to make noise for the last 20 minutes. Like something always happens now. And that's why people are not going, because it costs a fortune really for families. Even one person, $20, really like $17, $16 without getting popcorn. If you get popcorn, $30. And then you get this really bad experience. So I think what needs to be moving forward is these theaters need either better security, people watching they have to, if movie theaters continue to ask to have these prices, which I'm sure are going to continue to do, then they have to vastly improve the situation. They have to improve what's going on in their movie theater. There can't just be guards. Like for me, there are security guards in my movie theater where they just chill at the bar the whole night, not drinking, just chilling, waiting for something to happen. And all the workers, once you get past the where you have to scan your ticket, there's no workers past that point in my AMC. So people can bounce back and forth from movie theaters, and there's no one. Like I had an issue the other night where my movie just didn't play and we waited 10 minutes. My movie was, I think, at like 3 o'clock. And at 3:10, it took the screen's black. It took me to walk out of the theater, go all the way back up to the front desk, and tell the person that our movie hasn't started yet. There's nothing playing on the screen. It just shouldn't take an audience member to have to do that. I have never walked out of the movie theater except around a month ago. I was seeing the new Planet of the Apes movie, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, on a Thursday night. Obviously, if you saw my YouTube review of it and my out of theater reaction, I saw it on a Monday. But on Thursday, I was actually planning on seeing it. It was a 3 o'clock showing on Thursday, the first showing in my theater. I go to the movie theater at 3 o'clock. At 2:50, I arrive, and the person at the front tells me, "Are you seeing Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes right now?" I said, "I'm about to." And he said, "Well, our server went down, so you can't see the movie now, but at 6:30, it'll be ready." So whatever. So I have A-list. It's a free refund, and it's a free movie ticket for me. So I could care less. If I get to see the movie, I see the movie. It's pretty packed theater, and then people just start complaining. Why, like one person just keeps screaming the whole movie, "Why am I even here? I hate being around people." Like they're just screaming. Like the movie is playing at this point. The trailers, for some reason, the people were quiet. And when the movie started, people then started talking, and then people started verbally arguing with each other very loudly. And I missed a very key moment in the first act of Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. And the moment I knew I missed something, I went right out of the theater. And I said, especially for you guys, I want to give, when I'm in a movie theater watching a theater, yes, I'm trying to have fun, have a good time, but also try to take the experience seriously. I try to give you guys pay attention to everything, to all these details, so I can give you guys a very detailed review, because I care about putting out good content for you guys. But I had to leave. And that was the first time I've ever walked out of a theater. And it was the day before I graduated college. I said, I'm not getting stressed out about not just missing a big moment, but then having to look it up. And I was like, I need to take this movie in fully. I think the first 40 minutes I was there for, and then I had to leave. And then on Monday, very small crowd, no issues. Got to watch the movie in full on Monday. But these theater experiences are just getting worse. And the sad thing is, I look at all these reviewers, I go to social media, and everyone, and it's sad is that verbal argument. A mother was sitting next to me with her 3 kids about to watch the new Planet of the Apes movie. And she whispered to me, and as we were talking a bit earlier, she said, "This is why I don't bring anyone. That's why I don't go to the movies anymore. And that's definitely not why I bring the kids to movie theaters anymore, because these experiences are bad. Not just are they paying a fortune, but it's supposed to be a experience, as I said. An experience where you just sit down, you kill 2.5 hours, plus obviously the trailers in the movie theater, and escape what's ever going on outside of the theater. That's why I always love movies and sports are my 2 passions, because I escape, I guess, sometimes the reality. I think, Furiosa bombing, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is kind of the only big major winner. If's doing pretty well, but Furiosa being a total disaster. And what's sad too is that a lot of these movies I'm very passionate about. I think a lot of people, in my opinion, are being too harsh on the quality of films because, and again, films are very subjective. As that's the whole point of a channel like this. Furiosa isn't getting as rave reviews as I thought. I adore the movies, one of my favorite movies of the year. I don't love when, some of my favorite movies are getting challengers. Furiosa, in my top 3 movies of the year, are going to probably lose tons of money, millions upon millions of dollars for these studios. And the also reason why I turned out to like movie theaters, because I knew I was supporting the people who make movies. It is really hard to make a movie, especially when I was living in LA. I saw what it took, and you want to support those people because I love movies, and you want to support the people making movies. And the way you do that is in the theater. And yes, Another bad thing is that we used to have a 90-day window when movies came out. When a movie came out on a Friday, it would take 90 days for even it to hit PVOD to rent or buy for $20. Then it would go down to a rental. Then it would hit a streaming service. That takes 4 or 5 months for that to happen. But now even like the free guy, the Fall Guy, for example, that what came on digital 20 days after it hit theaters, which tells audience members, as movies have now been doing this, studios have been telling their fans to do this, which is if you are not comfortable going to the movie theater, if this movie bombs, guess what? You don't have to wait those 4 or 5 months to see the movie again, or 6 months before you see the movie. You can just get it at your disposal in 2 to 3 weeks. Piracy's obviously been a big problem, but I'm saying from a digital perspective, the Fall Guy came out, and then 17 to 21 days later, it was available for anyone to rent. Obviously, yes, it's $20. But again, if you're a family and you want to see the Fall Guy, it's cheaper to wait a couple weeks and wait at home to rent or buy for $20 than spend $15 to $17 a ticket plus concessions in a movie theater. I think it is. The studios need to rework things. If the studios are worried about the box office, they have to change the way they release their movies via a streaming service or a PVOD market, things like that. Because audience members are right now, if they are not pumped or if they don't feel compelled to see a movie in theater, they now know they don't have to wait half a year to see it down the line. They can wait 2, 3 weeks to a month. It'll be at disposal, cheaper than seeing it in a movie theater. So I'm here to help. I know this is a lot of negativity, but I do love the movie theater experience. I'm not going to stop going. I've had these bad experiences recently. I'm not going to stop. I've loved doing it my whole life. And I really hope, obviously, the box office starts turning around. We got Bad Boys this month, Inside Out 2, A Quiet Place, the third film in the Quiet Place franchise. Hopefully, someone gets us back on track at the box office. And I didn't do it last week because I wanted to take my time with how depressing it's been to cover the box office. I'm going to keep doing it, starting back again next Tuesday. Other tons of videos. I've been off for about a week, trying to make sure I get my thoughts here clear on this topic. But back to making daily videos here on the channel tomorrow. I'll do my spoiler breakdown on the first 2 episodes of The Acolyte, reviews of The Strangers and not The Strangers, the new M. Night's Daughter, her new movie. I'm seeing that on Thursday. I'll be reviewing that. I'm reviewing Bad Boys for Life this weekend. So many reviews are coming to the channel. So that's my thoughts. What are your thoughts on the box office and your movie theater experiences? What can they do? Do you like your experience? Have you had any problems? And if you did, what were they? Let me know in the comment section. I'll see you guys soon.